and welcome to Anne-Marie's Workshop. My name is Anne-Marie and I like to make things. If you like to make things, then please like, subscribe, and share. Things first, Happy New Year. Wishing you all the best and wishing you as much fabric and patterns that you can fit in your life. And now last year was quite a year for me at Anne-Marie's Workshop. I sewed from my heart with joy and abandon and no limitations, and ended up with about 230 projects. I do not believe that will happen this year, but maybe. I don't know. Anyway, one of the things that started me off last year, planning, which was critical to me, making the things I made and enjoying the things I made and gifting the things I made, was the 9 Makes Challenge. So I wanted to let you in on how I did on that. I was able to complete 8 of the 9 projects. The 9th project was a booger. I knew it was going to be a booger, but I did make some progress on it, so I feel really good and I really love it. And I've got plans at the end of the video for my 9 Makes plans for 2023. All right, one of the first things on my 9 Make challenge that I completed, I believe before May, because I took it to my daughter as a gift. It was a quilt called Giggles, and I started this quilt. Hold on, move over so I can put it over here. I started this quilt, y'all, she's 36. I think I started this quilt before she graduated from high school. Oh dear. But one of the great things about the 9 Makes challenge is that I finished it and it's beautiful. And I was so touched. I went to visit her home in November and it was hanging on the wall in the hallway as a wall hanging. It looked so good. I was just so touched. So I'm glad that that was done. Okay, so that's the first one. The second one was these Cindy Crawford shirts. I loved the shape of them and I thought they were gonna really work for me, but even though I completed both of them, and I will show you them here, one was this beautiful avocado fabric and another was these African-American faces. I absolutely loved the material. The shirt fit, but I don't know, it was not complimentary. The upper arms felt close to me. I think it was more of a design thing. It wasn't really a fit thing. I didn't care for it. They're still hanging in my closet. I'm going to gift them to my church. That's how it is sometimes. But I really wanted to do them because they reminded me of another pattern. And since then, I found that pattern. And so I'm going to remake the shirts in a different fabric. And I think that's the look I'm going for. You'll see it in the year. Third thing on my 9 Makes was a cutting designs pattern that I'd had for a very, very long time. I'll put it over here. And I really, really wanted to make something with these patterns. I did 2 things last year with these patterns. I had them for so long and I never worked on it. And I had this unbelievable fabric. I ended up making this set. It was a jacket and a Drindle's cut skirt. It had so many wonderful sewing, new ways of doing things, couture ways of doing things, innovative ways of doing things. It had a back pleat, a back cover pleat. It had a 3-level waistband, set in placket in the front. It was lovely. And I made it in that unbelievable fabric that I used for the ball gown that came along later in the year. That ball gown wasn't a part of my 9 Makes, but I'll put a picture of it over here because that was stunning. That fabric, you know where I got it, was from Ping's, and it gave the liquid impression, the fluid impression, that it was like high lurex, high metallic sheen, but it had almost a jean quality to it. You could almost see through it. It was a spectacular piece of fabric. I'm pretty sure almost 20 yards of it I bought eventually, because it was so cheap and so stunning. It was one of a kind. But very pleased with it. I thought I took it with me to America to wear in the evening, but I ended up jumpsuiting it out, y'all. So I never got around to wearing it. I think I brought it back with me. I'm not sure. I think I brought it back with me. I might have left it in Houston, but I only had a chance to wear it. Now that we're coming out more, Mandeville is cool enough in the evening to wear it out somewhere. And so I would really recommend these patterns. I made two things with it. I did this in the trenches pattern, and I also used another pattern, and I was very pleased with it. Now, the next thing that was on my list was a Cynthia Rowley two-part dress. That was, all of her designs are very, very interesting. This one had a pleated top. It's a dress, it's a whole piece. It's a pleated top in the front that looks like it's tucked into the skirt, and that there's like a flow over on the side, and it's not attached in the back. So the back has like its own closure on the back of a skirt. The shirt goes over that. It's only attached in the front. It's very interesting. I hope I'm showing it to you right now. And I made that in a blue linen, and I really, really liked it. It's more like church for me, and we haven't returned to church yet because, you know, my dad's health, but I will get to wear it one day. But it was on one of my 9 makes. Now, this was a Tom and Linda Platt two-part cool top and bottom. The shirt top is a one-piece construction, asymmetrical, hangs a certain way. I really loved making this. The only thing wrong with this outfit is it's too hot here for it. So I am going to remake this, maybe in an Ankara pattern or something else, a linen, so that maybe I can get a chance to wear it. But it was super cute, super delightful. I love to, I made this Tom and Linda Platt pattern because I couldn't believe I'd missed it. It was in my stash, and I can't believe it because, you know, if you look at my Tom and Linda Platt video, I'm a fan. Now, the next thing on my 9 makes video was a jumpsuit, a McCall's 7909 jumpsuit. If I had any idea how the jumpsuit fever was going to hit me last year, I wouldn't have given this outfit to a 9 make space, because I ended up making so many jumpsuits, and I ended up gifting this one. It gave me the impression that it was going to fit. I used this beautiful Ankara fabric to make it. I'll show it to you over here. Even though I measured the sizes and everything, it didn't fit right on me. You know, I'm an apple shape, and it kind of looked like it was relaxed in the center. But my daughter has a good friend who is narrow at the side. You know, those girls who are narrow at the side, and I'm kind of tubular, and it didn't work with this jumpsuit. So this jumpsuit found a very good home, but it was a beautiful fabric, and I have some left, and I think I cut it out in the Gilbert pattern, and I will show you what that looks like when I get around to making that shirt. Now, this pattern was New Look. Ooh, 6854. I should know it by heart. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of these dresses. 4. They are delightful. I made this dress in a rayon, which was lovely, but I also made it in some quilter's cotton. And the one I did this time, I hacked it, and I think that was the draw, to hack this pattern. I gave it the bishop's collar and the poet's collar and I made flutter sleeves for it in a soft palette of ladies who go to the spa in pastel print. Turned out beautifully. One of my 4 of them, I'm gonna make it again. I didn't get around to making it in a stretch velvet, but I will. It is also a wonderful pattern to, instead of using the drawstring and waistband in the front, to find a really lovely belt and to showcase, because it cinches in the front, it's open in the back, and it has a princess flare at the bottom. It is a delight and one of my favorites. Now, the second quilt I was able to complete was the Messiah Woman that I made in commemoration of my daughter's 36th birthday. It was a big hit. It was a gorgeous make. I really enjoyed making it. And because I decided to take my time with making all of these projects, I did not want to rush the final quilt that was on my 9 Makes challenge. Let me show it to you over here. It just came out so well. I loved everything about it. I loved the applique work. I love the beading. And I'm pretty sure my daughter's doggy is probably gonna look for that beading and chew them off, but I'll replace them if need be. But yeah, it was a beautiful make. It was lovely. I'm looking forward to doing some of the other quilts, but that's another time. Now, the one that got away, I finished all my 9 makes by, say, middle of October, and then I started working on my booger, my self-designed Gardener's Lament quilt. Still here. I'm very proud of myself. When I first took it up, I had only completed this part with the giant sunflowers and the gardener, and it was too much fertilizer. And what happened though is, because it was on my 9 Makes list, I got the basis for Too Much Snow, and I got a chance actually to get a lot of things done on it, including my little gardener in her red winter coat, and I was able to get Too Many Leaves, which was fall, and she's wearing a denim jacket, I believe, or a fall jacket, and then Too Much Water, and she's wearing a yellow slicker. So that challenge moved me along on this quilt, so far, because I started this quilt over 10 years ago. So I'm telling you that to let you know, just because you don't get everything done doesn't mean you cannot roll over. Because wait, who's in charge of this? I am, and I really want a really nice, nicely done quilt. So I am rolling it over. So while it is the last project on my 9 Makes that I didn't get to, it is the first one for 2023 on my new 9 Makes challenge. Now, once again, I do not regret not finishing this quilt, because I spent the time that I should have been working on this quilt, because I'd done all of my Christmas gifts and I had been with my friend. I spent making food, decorating for Christmas, traveling, hosting a Boxing Day party, making cookies, making cake, shopping, going to the movies. It was well worth it. So I encourage you to embrace planning. I don't know, maybe because as a former teacher, I love an assignment and a take-home project. I really embrace the 9 Makes challenge. So let's talk about what I want to get done in 2023. Now, as far as my 9 Makes plans for 2023, Last year, I took on some things that were hanging around my workshop, and I really wanted to move them along because either they had been there for years, or they were a bit more challenging, or I was just piqued or intrigued by it. This year, I want to put things on my 9 Makes challenge that are mentally stimulating for me, something unusual or something that requires a bit more time to work on. I'll go ahead and make my regular plans for what I want to make during the month, but I want my 9 Make plans to be kind of unusual. So the first thing is, once again, my Gardener's Lament quilt is number 1. Number 2, I have an entire box of dolls already cut out, and I want to go ahead and make up quite a bit of them to either donate to Texas children or to get them out in the world. I don't have any little girl grandbabies, but I'd like to get them. They take up an entire box in my studio, and I'd like to really work on some dolls, some monster dolls, some ballerina dolls, all different types of dolls. I haven't decided how many, but I would like to consistently get those done. Now, my next one is I would like to do 24 Dress a Girl Around the World dresses. I made 18 for the challenge last year, but I had already committed in the beginning of the year to do 2 a month. And when I was delivering my food baskets to our home church in Mandeville, the lady said they need Dress a Girl dresses. They need dresses here. So I've increased my thing, and we'll see how it goes. By the time the challenge comes along, or I might every month do a couple dresses and bring up to the church with our food donations, and we'll see how that goes. But that's at least 24. Because, you know, over a year, two a month is 24, so we'll be okay. All right, now, the fourth thing I want to explore is, I don't know if I'm saying his name right, Issey Miyake passed away last year, the designer. I have maybe 12 of his patterns. How many of those patterns have I made? Goose egg, 0, none. So I'm going to go through my Issey Miyake patterns and make a few of them up to see if I can work with his design aesthetic, to see what they look like. I may make them and they may not suit me, but I've always admired his work, which is why I have 12 patterns, right? So I'm going to make a couple of his things. And the next one is, I have a Chanel coat. Hold on. Now, sorry, I have had this Chanel coat cut out for so many years, and I'm going to stop it for a minute. I'm so excited to use this fabric. I've had it cut out for years. I finally found a trim at Ping's, y'all, at Ping's. To use in my Chanel trim. I've got a rickrack, and I've got these beads. We'll see. But the Chanel jacket is number 5. Now, number 6 is inspired by costume making. As a former librarian, I used to have several costumes. I had Mary Poppins. Oh, I can't even begin. But I've been very intrigued by some of the fantasy books I read, that some of the they contain a librarian. So Lucienne is in the Sandman series, and Lyriel is in the Up Orson series by Garth Nix. And they have very specific costumes. Now, the Lyriel costume, I assembled all the pieces for it quite a long time ago, but I never put it together. So I'm going to work on that. And then for the Sandman, Lucian, who is the Sandman's librarian, who keeps all the books that have ever been imagined. I just love that idea. But she wears a very structured Edwardian looking coat with a bell bottom and tulip shaped, with a vest and a lovely shirt. And I'd like to work on that. So I'm very excited about making that. Also, the next thing is my daughter has brought me her quilt, which has been loved to death. And she's very brokenhearted that I cannot repair it. I can't, because it's been laundered and rubbed to within an inch of its life. And that's before I realized that some batiks are not as sturdy as quilter's cotton. So I told her that I am going to remake a quilt for her and put this quilt on the inside as batting, so she won't lose her beloved quilt. But I had started to square by square repair them. No, because the banding pieces are not making it, so it just, see, they're rubbing out away. So I'm gonna remake the quilt in, I don't know what style yet, but a heavy quilter's cotton. My girl's kind of hard on stuff. While I was away, I sat on my daughter's couch and saw her granny square quilted Afghan by her grandmother, and I have other quilted, but no, my brother took off with his mom, my mother's quilted blanket that she had made from him years ago. She was a wonderful crochet and embroiderist and things like that. So I saw this pattern by Simplicity with the granny squares, and I thought, oh, what the heck, I'll give it a try. It's kind of like 1970s, but I've decided I'm gonna try it, so I've started. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work on that, and that is my 8th plan. It's gonna take a little while. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the ones that are on the arms or the single set that goes down the back. I'm not sure, we'll see. All right, and the very last thing is I bought, hold on a second. I bought this upholstery fabric from you know where, Pings, to reupholster. My mom had these beautiful side chairs. One is in the bedroom downstairs, and one is in my father's room. Now, don't tell anybody, but my dad used to dye his hair because it's the only thing would make you realize what age he was. Until he let his hair go gray, everyone was confusing him with my husband, okay? But he used to sit in the chair and let his hair dye rub on the chair. Don't say anything. So I'm going to reupholster the chair because he doesn't do the hair dye anymore. All right, guys, so I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to working on these things this year. Thank y'all for coming along for all of these rides. I'm fascinated with the stuff that you all are making as well, and I hope you have a wonderful new year, and I'll keep you posted with my next up is my January plans. I'll let you know what I'm up to. Oops, I'm out of practice. Keep making.